Amelia officially returns to Grey's Anatomy, reigniting an old flame. Are you on board? The February 26th episode of Grey's Anatomy marked Amelia's official return to Grey Sloan Memorial after a 3-month hiatus, and she made up for lost time. Jen Landon, Yellowstone, was presented as Dr. Toni Wright, the hospital's new plastics attending. Of course, she is familiar to Amelia, who recalls clashing with Toni in medical school. Toni, however, chose to pretend that she and Amelia never met, prompting Amelia to remind her of their unpleasant past. And with that, their awkward history became awkward present. To her credit, Toni was unexpectedly candid, revealing that she purposefully avoided Amelia at school. She had a crush on her. "This is all in the past," Toni told her, adding, "Frankly, you're not my type." It was both awkward and disingenuous, and our suspicions were reinforced when Amelia and Toni flirted throughout this week's surgery. And not subtly either. Following the successful treatment, Amelia stated that she had a crush on Toni in school but didn't know how to communicate her feelings at the time. Toni offered to take Amelia out for coffee or dinner, but it was unnecessary. As the show concluded with Amelia escorting Toni home to her apartment, these two were quite content to skip right to dessert. So, how do you feel about this pairing? We're all for unrequited loves finally getting their day in the sun, and this is a step in the right direction after Grey's killed off Amelia's previous prospective love interest, but do we think Amelia and Toni are a good match? Toni, an experienced plastic surgeon, is described as a charming and disorganized mess in her personal life, similar to Amelia's. So, whether they're meant to be or not, we know we're in for a rough trip. Bailey chastised Lucas for focusing too much of his effort on discovering new treatments for Katie rather than providing the care his other patients deserved. He then accused Ba. What were your thoughts on this week's Grey's Anatomy? Are you on board with Toni and Amelia? Is Lucas lying about his real feelings for Katie? And seriously, Jules, fertility friends? What's on your mind following Thursday's episode? Leave a comment below. Shocking deaths. Pregnancies that are kept secret. Underground bunkers. The previous 10 months have been filled with unexpected turns that have left even the most seasoned TV viewer reeling, from serial killers hiding in plain sight to shocking acts of betrayal. As part of TV's ongoing year in review, we're revisiting, and ranking, the moments that required extra time to process, aka the biggest plot twists of 2025. Warning. Because this is a celebration of twists, you are about to enter a spoiler minefield that if you're behind, you may wish to turn around. The next 15 shows are listed alphabetically: Adolescence, Chicago Med, Dexter, Original Sin, Dexter, Resurrection, The Diplomat, Love Island USA, Overcompensating, Paradise, Peacemaker, The Pit, Poker Face, The Rehearsal, Task, We Were Liars, or Wednesday. One more disclaimer: to make this list small, we limited ourselves to one twist each show. Let's be honest, some of these shows could generate entire lists on their own. Read on for TV's rating of the biggest TV plot twists of 2025, so far, then leave a comment to tell us which one surprised you the most. Hannah was waiting for the results of her physical exam and psychological evaluation to see if she might be a surrogate for her sister right before season 10 ended. She was concerned that her drug addiction and unstable romantic life would be a problem, but when she received the call, she discovered that it was her physical condition that posed a challenge. The doctor was already pregnant. Hannah's most recent boyfriend was Ripley, which would have made him a probable baby daddy choice, except that the two had already broken up a time ago. Then, overcompensation, Carmen sleeps with Peter. When Carmen spent virtually the entire Charlie XCX performance trapped in a bathroom with explosive diarrhea, we thought it couldn't get any worse. We were mistaken. After washing away any leftover evidence of the ordeal, a sopping wet Carmen, mascara smudged all over her eyes, resumed her journey home. Peter, the ugly frat dude dating Benny's sister, approached her in the parking lot and asked, "Where are you headed?" She said, "I don't know." Peter simply nodded his head in the direction of his location, and Carmen followed him like a puppy. We prayed it wasn't so. However, as the next show began, it was revealed that the two had secretly hooked up. We were completely surprised by the news because, A. What sort of female wants to get frisky after such a nasty gastrointestinal episode? B. How could she betray Benny and Grace like that? Why, Carmen? Cf. Heather was pregnant with Robbie's baby. Noah while knew the Pit viewers would be clamoring for history by episode 11, and boy, did it provide. During a touching exchange, Robbie's relationship with Dr. Heather Collins became clear. She originally told her ex about her recent IVF attempt that resulted in a miscarriage, admitting that she wasn't strong enough to try again. Then she made a deeper confession: she'd become pregnant years before but wasn't ready to be a mom. Though not specifically mentioned, Robbie's wide-eyed reaction suggested that Collins had an abortion while they were still together. I was afraid of all of it, she explained. But mostly, I was afraid he would hate me for being selfish. Robbie paused, then assured her that she was not selfish. Do you think he'd forgive me if he knew? She wondered. Yes, he replied softly. More importantly, I know he'd want you to forgive yourself. Ryan Schwartz.